For our first video in corporate structure, we're going to talk about commonly used entity types. These are types of businesses. You may have heard of some of these, you may not have heard of others, and you may have no idea, or you may have a lot of idea, what they actually mean. Now keep in mind, each of these videos in the 990-90 series is going to be at most maybe 2.5 minutes long. So I'm not going to go through a full semester of law school corporations class to explain some of these things. The three most commonly used corporate structure types, these are company types, is the sole proprietor, the limited liability company, and the corporation. The sole proprietor is actually not a registered entity. That is a person operating a business with a business name. You would see something like DBA, or doing business as, under a sole proprietor. And I'm actually going to have a separate video explaining exactly what a DBA is and how to properly handle a DBA in Georgia. The next one is a limited liability company, or an LLC. That's probably the most common form of corporate of a corporation, and or of a company, I should say, because corporation is a separate form. The limited liability company provides more protections than the sole proprietor does. For example, if a limited liability company is sued in litigation, let's say a dealer is sued by a customer, the owner of the LLC is not going to automatically be liable. Now that's something we call the corporate veil. There is a veil over the individuals that protects them from any liability. Now you'll note that there's a video coming up in the 990-90 series talking specifically about the corporate veil, because there are circumstances where the corporate veil can be pierced. And what that means is when the corporate veil is pierced, the owner of the company, or owners of the company, can actually be held personally liable. So just because the company is a registered LLC does not mean that it is automatically insulated, that an owner is automatically insulated from liability. The third most commonly used is a corporation. You would see that as Inc. at the end of a business name. It's another form like an LLC that provides corporate protection. Most of the time, a CPA or some other accountant or tax professional can guide somebody on which entity to choose. But the most common ones that you'll see in this industry, at least amongst dealers, are sole proprietors, limited liability companies, and corporations.